Welcome to the NFL.
You're listening to Sports Talk 49.
Ready?
With your host, Blake Anthony, exclusively on NSPN Champa Bay TV.
And here we go.
Get ready to strap yourself in and prepare for a ride on the soul-trained voice of Blake Anthony as he covers and breaks down the ins and outs of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Rays, Lightning, and every other professional sports team. Because if you don't know, you better ask somebody, and that somebody is Blake Anthony.
Doesn't matter what's happened before today. Today's a brand new day. It's a brand new season.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sports Talk 49, live and always exclusively right here on NSPN Champa Bay TV. I'm your host, Blake Anthony, and this is Sports Talk 49. So much to talk about, so little time. I'm sorry I'm a day late and a dollar short, but so much has happened in my schedule. I had to bring you this post-game Buccaneers Saints as the Buccaneers got a W on the road against the Saints in their house, courtesy of 3 turnovers and 12 minutes of Jameis Winston. What more can I say? I left that stadium, the fans and everybody were just so upset, so disarray. Only thing they had to say was this.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Fuck this bullshit.
That's pretty much it. They left there. Of course, the fans and everybody wants to turn now on Jameis Winston. He's the enemy now, at least for this week. We'll see what next week brings. But it was a lot to talk about. 3 turnovers, pick 6. It looks like Jameis of the old with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to also hear from Ty Bowles. We're going to hear from Cam Jordan. We're going to hear about the things that Devin White had to say on the post-game interview and in Leonard Fournette's IG that they kind of caught a past conversation off of that with Chris Godwin and Devin White having a conversation about the comments Devin White said. But first, let's hear from Ty Bowles, and then we'll roll into everything from that.
Injury update from yesterday's game, Hicks, Wells, any update with those guys in terms of their availability?
They're banged up pretty good. Their availability right now is unknown, but, both got hurt pretty good.
Brandon Walton stepped in and looked like, at least at first glance, did a really good job for you at left tackle. Can you speak to the game after watching the film that he had out there?
He really battled, for his first time out as a starter or coming into the ball game, playing in an NFL game. We thought he fought hard. We thought he held his own, and we thought he did some good things in there. We're very happy to see what he did when he came in.
How the short yardage, you had a 4th and 1, you had a 3rd and 1 where Fournette got stopped short. Is there something, obviously you're down some offensive line, but there's something you'd point to for why those didn't click?
Well, we got to find a way to get a yard, and for whatever reason it didn't click, whether they made a good play or we didn't, we got to find a way to get 1 yard every time if we want to go for it on 4th down.
We'd asked you in post-game about kind of the altercation between Evans and Fournette and Lattimore. You said you hadn't seen it. Having looked at that now, is there anything that stands out, anything that changes your perspective on what you saw?
Well, the tape cuts off. All I can see is the TV copy. It doesn't change my perspective. We don't want any fighting in our game because we lose a good player. It doesn't help our team. So we don't condone that. We don't teach that. We don't want that in our game.
Coach, I guess there's going to be a suspension of Mike. Is that your understanding? And just what's your reaction to that?
Yes, he'll get 1 game. I found that about 10 minutes ago. He'll have a 1-game suspension. Like I said, the fighting alone loses a player for the next game. It hurts our team because we lose a very good ball player. We don't want that. We don't condone it. And, we got to move forward and try to find a way to win without him. But that should be a lesson to all our other players.
How fine a line is that to stick up for your teammates, to be fired up about the game, but to not cross over into unwanted territory?
Well, it's always a fine line. This is a controlled aggression game. It's a controlled aggression game, and you try to protect your teammates, but you got to do it the right way.
Todd, Rashard Perriman's been one of those players that has kind of flown under the radar unless he's really needed to step up, and yesterday was one of those games for him making that 4th down play. What can you say about just his ability at times, not all the time, but at times to rise up in those instances, whether it be at the end of the 2019 season for you or yesterday?
Well, he's always prepared. You know, his readiness, his understanding of the game, doing the right things all the time, staying mentally sharp, doing all the little things. He's a pro's pro. He's a guy's guy, especially in the locker room, understanding what he has to do to prepare. So when the moment comes, it's not too big for him. It's routine for him, and it's a small thing that goes under the radar, but it's a big thing for us.
It's obvious what the younger tight ends are giving you from a special teams and a blocking standpoint, but with Mike out, do you need more pass catching from that position in general, Todd?
Not necessarily that position, but from everybody that's on the field, running backs and receivers. You know, we're going to have to pick it up somewhere. Somebody's going to have to make a play and step up, and that's what we got depth for.
Todd, there were a lot of questions about special teams and cover units in the preseason, and it seems like they've been fairly solid these first two games. I think the Saints had negative yardage on punt returns yesterday. Camarda had 3 punts inside the 20. It seemed like your returns were better than theirs. Has that been a pleasant surprise so far?
It's been a very good surprise. They've been physical. You know, they've been on top of things. They play with their hair on fire, so to speak, in special teams terms, and, you know, it's been very pleasing to see.
Tom, it's my understanding the league's also looking into like the sideline, and you've had yesterday Bruce Arians was on the sideline, you know, still doing what Bruce does with referees or whatever. First of all, are you okay? You're obviously okay with him being in the front office and still being on the sideline. Do you think that he needs to go upstairs, or is there any? What's your feeling?
Well, he's always upstairs, but they didn't have a box to give us this game, so everybody that was upstairs were downstairs.
So Raymond James Stadium this week and on throughout the year, Jason, Bruce, and those guys will be upstairs. Is that your?
Jason's always downstairs. Bruce is always upstairs.
Todd, there was word over the weekend that Brady would be taking Wednesday as a personal day every day this week. He had kind of taken a day in the second half of last season. Is that the plan? And you think that works okay for what you need from him?
It's not a personal day. It's a rest day. It's also Julio's rest day. And then we have Chris on Thursday, Mike and Levante on Friday, so it's not just him. You know, we have guys, we have designated days off for after games to help them recover quicker and do things. And he has Wednesday, but so does Julio.
How optimistic are you of Julio playing this week?
And we'll see how he recovers. Again, we got a long week ahead of us, and I can't make that decision without seeing him.
Is the rest day for Brady just at practice, or is he here during the?
Oh, he's here. He's in meetings. The rest day for everybody is just at practice.
Todd, the NFL's become more of a pass-friendly league with the rule changes over the last couple of years, quarterbacks and receivers that are coming in. But it seems like, at least through the first two games, teams are kind of going back to the run a little bit more, emphasizing that, or at least trying to be more balanced. Is that something that you've seen, or is that just kind of a snap judgment after just 2 weeks?
I think it's just 2 weeks. You know, I haven't seen all the games, but some teams are trying to run it, some teams are still trying to throw it. So it fluctuates and it changes from time to time, depending on, I guess, your personnel. You'll do one heavy or the other.
In the first quarter of both of these last games, you guys have given up more yards on the ground than you wanted to. Is that something that teams are attacking you schematically and you're maybe not in the right defense, or is it just simply guys getting out of their gap, missing tackles? What is your assessment so far on why some teams have been able to get after you a little bit on the ground early on?
Well, some of it we played a pass early on. Some of it we just been out of our gaps, and we haven't been gap sound in 2 weeks to my liking anyway. So we're going to work on that, and it's the start of the season. We got a chance to get better.
With respect to Mike, I mean, Marshawn was part of that too. Are you surprised or disappointed at all? Because he had an incident last week where he shoved the player to the ground and drew a 15-yard penalty for it, that there wasn't a single player suspended for that altercation as well?
He was, but I can only worry about my team. You know, I can only control what happens on this team and not worry about everybody else.
So your understanding is Lattimore was suspended?
I don't know what happened with Lattimore. I just know what happens with Mike.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Thanks.
I think Todd Bowles is right. I think that's really what you're focusing on right now is Mike getting the 1-game suspension. Now he's appealing it, said he'll know the verdict tomorrow. I don't really expect it to change, but we will see what happens. Does it get reduced and it just gets a heavy fine, or it goes? I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's not egregious as the first one, I would have to say, because he rammed Lattimore and then decided got over top of him and threw punches, and he wasn't suspended. I know the league is going to try to make an example out of it. Per John Runyon gave his explanation of it. I think that's kind of controversial and a conflict of interest that he's the one reigning justice on Mike Evans, and his son started right tackle in that game. I think somebody else should have played into that, but what do I know? That's me personally. He should have. There should have been somebody else because his son was playing in that game. And there might be some type of biasism. I know John Runyon, I've seen him and his son. I got to watch both of them. His dad in his career as Philadelphia Eagles, living in Philly for some time. And I got to watch his son playing in the Shrine Bowl right here in Tampa Bay in St. Pete. So I got to see both of those guys up close and in person. But in my opinion, I don't think John Runyon should have been the one passing down this judgment, and I guess maybe they put that into the appeal as well. We'll see. You'll get all that news tomorrow. As he said, as far as injuries, Akeem Hicks is supposed to be out with a plantar fasciitis in his foot for a month. Hopefully it's shorter because he's played a real dominant part in this defense. When you play defensive tackle, especially in this scheme, it's not all about sack numbers and everything. It's about pressures and creating gaps and lanes for other people to make plays. Hence, Devin White has 2 sacks. Levante David got a sack Sunday. There's plenty of defensive backs that make it back there. It's all because of those guys doing their job, creating double teams. Sometimes I saw triple teams, freeing up lanes for other people to make plays. But as I say always, there's tons of people that watch football for a very long time and they still don't understand the game and people's roles and responsibilities. The only thing that they understand is the sack number, and you think that is the success of your team. You could have 15, 16 sacks and your team is last and stopping the run because all you care about is pass rushing, your personal stats to get paid. Granted, it's about you and it's about you getting paid and your personal performance and what the team expects from you. But in totality, your team sucks because you're one-dimensional. Read that as you may, or whatever it may mean out of that. That's why you like full-fledged players. Hence, Shaquille Barrett is great against the run. This does show up in the stat column big, but in the sack column, it shows up. So the guys that understand the game understand that. That's why these guys get these contracts. You guys look at numbers and you don't exactly know why, because you don't maybe understand the game. Before we go into Cam Jordan, I wanted to get into Devin White's comments about Jameis Winston. And we'll talk about IG and all that. We'll check this out right now. I put this up.
When Jameis left our team, everybody know what he did that last year. And we feel like we had a great defense then. And, he threw 30 picks.
Rewind it for you.
Hey, man, when Jameis left our team, everybody know what he did that last year. And we feel like we had a great defense then. And, he threw 30 picks. And we just knew he'd give us the ball. We knew the running backs, cough it up. And that's something we came in talking about. We want 30 turnovers as a ball club ourselves. So this just was another game to go attack the ball.
And I know if Jameis Winston saw this, I already know what his comment was.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Fuck this bullshit.
I mean, there's nothing he said that was a lie. He waited and waited and waited and did for him to turn the ball over, and he did. What can you say? Some people just can't.
You can't handle the truth.
I mean, it's the truth. You can call it a shot. I know they all said, you can call it what you want. I know they all said it. I know they were like, we're just wait, he's going to turn it over. I know they did. And he did. And they got 3 picks. Turned one into three picks. One turned into a touchdown. I mean, what?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
And they baited Jameis Winston into throwing the stupid interceptions, and they ran it down the sideline. And I can't say much more. Like, Cam Jordan's going to say a lot about how he feels about the game. You can read his facial expressions in this interview and understand how upset he was. And be that as it may, Leonard Fournette went on his IG trolling, fans, doing the eat a W thing and all that. And in the background, Chris Godwin is talking to Devin White about his comments, and Devin pretty much said, he's on the other team. What do you want to say? That's what we thought. We knew he was going to give up picks. If you gave him some type of little lead, Jameis would throw it, and they baited him into throwing it. That's what happened. I mean, it's not really like, oh, yeah, Jameis sucks. He was an asshole and all this. They didn't say that. He just left it at football, and that was it. And that's what happened. I mean, what? You game planned against him knowing he was going to do that. It was going to happen. It's whatever. Cam Jordan takes shots at people all the time, and they trolled and danced in the locker room. Now that they say something to him, you're upset. It's whatever. It's 1 week. They're done. Nobody's hating anybody. It's whatever it is. I know they said that on defense, and it clearly shows, and Jameis did what they thought he would do. You are who he thought they were, and he did it. And let's hear from Cam Jordan how he felt about the game and everything that happened, because the Saints fans, while we were there, all they kept saying is, oh, the refs courtesy this. I kept saying, did the refs throw 3 interceptions in 12 minutes and cost you a game? I don't believe so. You can blame the penalties all you want, but you threw 3 interceptions, which on a pick 6, which ultimately cost you that game. Let's hear what Cam Jordan had to say.
Master, how did it affect the defense?
I don't know. I think we went out there for another 3 and out. I think the series after that, we were headed towards another 3 and out. Then there was some random penalty that was made up on a tackle that was missed. So we have to fight everything and again play a complete 60 minutes. We're not going to be satisfied. And clearly, if you don't play 60 minutes, this is what happens. I think defensively, there was a game plan put together, and that first half clearly showed how well we were executing. You talk about the 4th and 1 stops. You talk about some 3 and outs that happened. You got to be able to capitalize on everything around us. And I mean, again, when you feel like you're the better team, they end up and look up and they've got 5 turnovers. That's tough to come back from. We know it's going to be a battle for defenses.
We've had a lot of battles with Brady over the years. And what was you all feel like you all had him under control?
He was exactly who we thought he was. He gets the ball out fast. He doesn't allow you to hit him. He doesn't allow you to actually rush the passer. You have to eliminate the game elsewhere. So you talk about eliminating the run this week was the emphasis, was the focus, and you tell me what the average was per carry. No, it wasn't over 2.5. Maybe. Might have got there at the end of the game.
It seemed bizarre that you were frustrating him so much and you were traveling on the sideline, and then he was yelling at Lattimore before that whole thing started after another incompletion. And is it bizarre to go from that point to all of a sudden, the whole game is flipped?
It hurts to lose your best corner. And at the same time, guys gun at him because they know that he's one of the best corners in the league. So you're going to have to eat that, learn from it, and move on. And we're going to go for our guys. I mean, but to be honest, in my mind, when I saw the replay, he didn't go after anybody. Somebody came after him. What do you want him to do in that situation?
Yeah, Lennon talking about Tom.
I'm saying somebody created contact, and my man had to defend himself.
Cam, did you get asked about the penalty you were called for? I think it was a defensive holding. I haven't been able to see the replay.
You want to be real about this? We're not going to do this on camera. We both know there was a holding call that was thrown my way, which couldn't have happened because I wasn't near the running back.
I haven't seen the replay yet.
But also, that's about on par for what was happening in this game.
Did you sense that you all had Tom frustrated at points?
No, I mean, it's Tom Brady. Again, you have to play all 60 minutes. And the way we were headed towards the fourth quarter, we liked our position. They ended up scoring for that first time for a touchdown. And you knew you had to bounce back from it. I think we did that the next series, but after that, again, we have to overcome whatever we have to overcome.
Cam, did you feel like the scuffle at the start of the fourth quarter changed momentum at all?
Jesus, no. I think defensively we were right where we wanted to be. We were headed towards a 3 and out. Some erroneous penalties were happening, and we can't get those back. All we can do is play through. That's on us. At the end of the day, 5 turnovers is on us. 2 of them in the red zone, and everybody knows everything's amplified in the red zone. I think that defensively speaking, we had an opportunity to create another turnover. And again, if you can get 1, you can get 2. So I'm always going to put it on the defense. I think we were able to stop the run well. I like how our interior D-line responded from last week. And to end up not winning the game, to end up being down by whatever it was at the time, it's 13, 17, whatever it was, we have to find a way as a defense to respond. If they get a pick 6, we got to get a pick 6.
What was the key in stopping the run more this week?
Just, again, dialing back in. previous week, you're worried about the two running backs in Cordell and Mariota, and this week we were focused on just down on what we can't control. That was big Leonard Fournette, who's a powerhouse.
Was it like deja vu seeing Evans just come flying in and knocking Marshawn off his feet?
No, I didn't even see it, honestly. I saw Marshawn and start jogging back and was headed to the sideline. Next thing I know, I heard, whatever was going down, I had to go get my guy.
Only thing I heard in that whole conversation was this.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Fuck this bullshit.
And then when he mentioned the 5 turnovers, all I heard was this.
You are so stupid. Am I? Idiot!
That is all I heard in the entire thing. And they can be salty, 5 turnovers. They still hung in the game up until the bitter end. Ultimately, you give that many turnovers. What happened is what should happen. You lost the game at home in front of your fans and disappointed the whole city. We'll see what happens. I can only imagine what Saints radio was like after that game. I can imagine it was Jameis based predominantly. I can imagine. So with that being said, let's move into the next topic for discussion. Tampa Bay Buccaneers bring on to the practice squad Cole Beasley, practically to bring him on, get him ready to go. With all those drops happening, this had to happen. This cannot happen another week. He's going to get all week to get ready. I predicted already that Scotty Miller would probably trade it at some point. I would imagine that was probably still be in play to bring in some depth and bring in some wide receivers. Julio Jones is already missing games week 2 with a hamstring injury. The guys that you thought couldn't stay healthy aren't staying healthy. So that's part of the doing business. I know everybody's going to want Sue back now, but Sue does not play an intensity level that Akeem Hicks plays in. Akeem Hicks is getting banged up because the guy plays at 120 miles an hour and makes plays and is unselfish. That's why one of the main reasons I wanted Akeem Hicks here, and he really understands the game of football. But bringing in Cole Beasley, obviously Tom Brady has a type, and this type is the Cole Beasley type. Bringing in this kind of guy to the team is going to bring the Adam Thielen type, Hunter Renfrow, Wes Welker, all that type of player that Tom Brady's used to having on his team. Little short, quick guy. Let him come in here and run them underneath routes, move those chains on big passing downs and things like that, and really cause some fits for defenders trying to cover him. That's all he is. He doesn't even have to be full time. He has to come in there and make these plays happen, especially with Mike Evans possibly being in out again. The jury's still out with the appeal process. Julio Jones not consistently healthy. Chris Godwin still unavailable. So all this time, and Russell Gage still not ready to go yet 100%, although he did make the catches he needed to make. He did. You need to get some more production out of that tight end group. I don't know if you're making plays for them or just using them block. As I said in the pregame to the Saints game, they're going to know you having those guys in if you don't throw them the ball, and they're going to just disregard them and just send guys all the time. And that's sure enough what they did. They weren't worried at all about the run plays, and they were able to stuff those gaps and make those plays against them. They just always have the number for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers always play into their scheme. So look forward to seeing Cole Beasley here in the upcoming weeks, and we'll just see how he fits in with Tom Brady. I think it's a good matchup. He's got some left in the tank. Don't need a whole lot from him, just need enough when you need him, and she should come right in here and contribute to this team, I believe so. So again, Buccaneers signed Cole Beasley's on the practice squad, much like the Cowboys signed Jason Peters to the practice squad to get you acclimated to run with the team. That's pretty much it. That's all I got for you guys in this great day. Like I said, sorry I'm late, way the schedules go, but you guys can have my perspectives, the winning angles, and all that's coming up for you this week and more as the Bucs begin to face off against the Green Bay Packers in Tampa Bay. And we'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons.